You know that feeling, right? That very specific, almost physical sensation you get when you walk into a specialist's office.
It's a gaslighting feeling.
Yes, you are living your reality. It's in 4K, it's 24/7.
Mm.
You know what hurts, or how your brain works, or what your child is actually experiencing.
It's the difference between reading the weather report and actually, standing in the rain.
Right. And then the person across the desk, the one with the clipboard and the credentials, pulls out a chart.
Mm-hmm.
And they look at their data, and they look at you, and they basically say, actually, no, that's not happening. The numbers don't support your story.
The classic computer says no moment. It's just so disorienting.
And what do we usually do? We retreat. We think, well, they have the PhD, they have the sensors. I must be wrong.
But today, we're diving into a situation where a whole community stood up and said no.
They said, your machine is wrong. Your map doesn't match our territory.
And it's a fascinating battleground. We are stepping right into this really intense debate around something called Gestalt Language Processing, or GLP.
We're dissecting this fiery intellectual rebuttal by Jaime Hoerricks, a PhD, titled The Naysayer Chronicles. Evidence of what, exactly?
And to be clear, this isn't some niche academic squabble.
Not at all. This is a full-blown philosophical showdown. It's about who gets to define reality. Is it the scientist with the stopwatch or the human being with the experience?
Hoerricks frames it perfectly as a clash between two ancient ideas of time, chronos and kairos.
Which is such a brilliant way to put it. It's a debate about whether we measure life in ticking seconds or in, moments of meaning.
We should definitely unpack that, because it's a game changer. But first, we have to set the stage. This essay wasn't written in a vacuum, was it?
No, it was a counterattack.
It was. It's a direct response to a 2025 academic paper by Ateem Lorang, Matthew Scott, Johnson, and Venker.
And Hoerricks sees this paper as the final boss entering the level.
Showing up to dismantle everything the Gestalt community had built.
So we have a final boss, ancient Greek philosophy, and a community fighting for its own story. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with the antagonist in this story, or at least the antagonist from Hoerricks' point of view. The essay uses this incredible metaphor.
The final boss.
Yeah, the final boss. It's such a perfect image for anyone who's ever played a video game.
Oh, totally. You've been slogging through the level, you're making progress, and then suddenly the music changes and this huge thing appears.
Right. And the level, in this case, is the whole grassroots movement around GLP. It's parents, autistic adults, therapists, and they're all exploring this idea that some people learn language not word by word, but in wholes. They're finding what works, they're sharing stories. It's this whole era of discovery.
And then, as you said, enter the final boss. Hoerricks describes the Lorang paper as walking into the room confident as a clipboard.
Confident as a clipboard. I mean, I had to stop and just stare at that phrase. It says so much.
It's not just about confidence, it's about a specific kind of confidence.
Rigid.
Totally. A clipboard doesn't enter a room to feel the vibe or understand nuance.
It's there to check boxes, to audit, to tidy up the messy reality of the people in the room.
Exactly. So what did this clipboard actually say? What was the big argument in the Lorang paper that got Hoerricks so fired up?
Well, they were investigating how autistic children process language.
And to do this, they use a very specific, and I should say, a very respected tool in cognitive science: eye tracking.
Okay, let's pause on that, because eye tracking sounds simple, like just watching where a kid looks.
Right.
But in a lab, this is really high tech, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's often called the visual world paradigm. You sit someone in front of a screen, you play some audio, like a sentence, and you use these high-speed cameras to track their saccades.
Saccades, the rapid eye movements.
Exactly. The cameras track them in millisecond resolution. And the entire theory behind this field is that your eyes give away what your brain is processing in real time.
So if the brain hears the word dog, the eye should, in theory, look at the dog.
That's the assumption, that the eye is a perfect little window into the mind's processing speed.
And what did Lorang and their team find?
They found that the autistic children in their study were processing language incrementally.
Incrementally, meaning word by word.
Yes. Sequential. Linear. As the sentence unfolds, the dog is running. The eye moves along with it. Tick, tick, tick.
Okay, I can see why a researcher would think that's significant.
Yeah.
But why is this the gotcha moment for the Gestalt community?
Because the whole premise of Gestalt language processing is that these individuals don't process word by word, at least not at first.
The theory is about wholes, right?
Right. They take in a giant chunk of sound and meaning all at once. If the processing is truly a gestalt, you wouldn't expect to see that immediate linear tick-tock eye movement.
So the critics are basically saying, look, we watched the eyes moved in a straight line, therefore the brain is thinking in a straight line. Your whole theory about holes is a nice story, but it's a fantasy.
That's the implication. Case closed. Hoerricks quotes the attitude as being, please return to your seats and resume being data.
Oof. That is just scathing. It's the scientific version of saying, I know you think you're swimming, but my water sensor is dry, so you're just waving your arms around.
It's invalidation dressed up as objectivity.
But I have to play devil's advocate for just a second here.
Go for it.
If the eye tracker, an objective machine, it has no agenda, if it shows the eyes moving linearly, isn't that pretty hard proof? Why is Hoerricks even arguing with the raw data?
And that is the million-dollar question. That's where this whole thing gets really, really interesting. Hoerricks isn't arguing that the eyes didn't move.
Okay.
Hoerricks is arguing that the researchers are asking the wrong question entirely. They're measuring the mechanics of the eye, and then they're just assuming it maps perfectly to the mechanics of meaning.
And this brings us to chronos versus kairos. This is the part of the essay that really made me sit up straight. Can we break this down?
Yeah. Definitely. They're two Greek terms for time, and you have to get this distinction to understand the rebuttal. So first, you have chronos.
Chronos, like chronology,
Sure.
chronometer,
Palmer.
clock time.
Exactly. It's quantitative time, the time of the lab, second 1, second 2, second 3. It's the domain of the Lorang study. They're counting milliseconds.
It's the timeline on a video editor, just a straight line. So what's kairos?
Kairos is qualitative time. It's the opportune moment.
The right time.
The right time, or the moment of impact. It's not about how long something took. It's about the depth of the event. Think about getting a joke.
Okay.
Chronos is the 10 seconds it takes to tell the joke. Kairos is the instant you get it and laugh.
And sometimes that instant doesn't happen until like 3 hours later when you're doing the dishes.
Exactly. And that's the point. The researchers are completely stuck in Chronos. They're asking, does the eye move in time with the word? But the GLT community is asking a Kairos question.
Which is?
How does the meaning land?
Wow. How does meaning know where to land? That's such a poetic way to frame a scientific debate.
It is, and it totally exposes the flaw in the study. Just because my eyes track words sequentially, and I mean, let's be honest, speech is linear, you can't say 2 words at once.
Right.
That doesn't mean my brain is building meaning sequentially.
It's like the difference between streaming a video and downloading a huge zip file.
Oh, I love that. Say more.
Well, the Lorang model, the linear one, it's like streaming. You get the data bit by bit, you process it bit by bit, incremental.
Mm-hmm.
But Hoerricks is describing a zip file. You get the whole package, the gestalt all at once, but you might not open it or unzip it until much later.
That is a brilliant analogy. And here's the kicker. The eye tracking study is only designed to detect streaming.
It has no way to see the zip file.
None. If the meaning lands 5 seconds later or 5 days later, which is a known thing in GLP, it's called delayed echolalia, the machine just counts that as a miss. It misinterprets the data.
So by only looking for immediate linear reactions, the study was basically designed to miss the very thing it was supposedly investigating.
Precisely. It's the old streetlight effect, right?
Yeah.
You look for your keys under the streetlight, not because that's where you lost them, but because that's where the light is.
They looked for language where their tools could see it.
Right. But Hoerricks is arguing that the real language, the real meaning, was happening somewhere else entirely.
So where is it happening? If not in the lab under the cameras, where does Hoerricks say we should be looking?
Well, Hoerricks uses this really evocative image of the cleared room.
Masks folded on the chair, breath finally allowed to behave like breath. It sounds like a sanctuary.
It is. It's a space of safety. And that's the key. The argument is that true, unmasked autistic processing only happens when the pressure is off.
Which is the polar opposite of lab where you're in a chin rest with a camera in your face and a stranger watching you.
Right. Try being your most authentic self with your head clamped in a vice. It's impossible. Hoerricks says the real data isn't found there. It's found in the mundane chaos of real life.
And the essay lists places. A corridor, a kitchen, a bus ride.
These are Kairos spaces, where life actually happens. And Hoerricks talks about a sentence arriving whole and refusing to cue.
Refusing to cue. I love that. It's such a polite, almost British way of describing a rebellious brain.
It really is. But what it means is that for a Gestalt processor, the meaning doesn't line up neatly like soldiers, subject, verb, object.
Right.
No, it arrives as a dog pile.
A dog pile.
Yes. The meaning hits you all at once. It's a rush. It's heavy. It's a complete emotional and informational block that you have to sort through later.
And if you're a scientist looking for a neat line of soldiers and instead you get a dog pile.
You assume the system is broken, or you just dismiss the dog pile as noise. But for the person living it, that dog pile is complete and it's meaningful.
This gets to something else I found really compelling. The defense of GLP here isn't based on a counter-study with better charts. It's based on resonance.
Yes. When Hoerricks first wrote about this Gestalt life, the community didn't just nod along.
No, the essay says they recognize themselves not vaguely, but with edges.
With edges. Such a specific visual.
It's about sharpness definition. It wasn't like reading your horoscope and going, oh yeah, I guess I'm kind of like that. It was a sharp, clear recognition of their own internal world. Hoerricks says it changed their posture.
And that's a powerful metric of validity, isn't it?
I think so. We think of validity as a p-value in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But Hoerricks is saying that if a theory changes the posture of 1,000 people, that's a form of validity too.
Maybe even a higher form. If a theory explains your life so well that you physically stand up straighter because you finally understand yourself.
How can a chart disprove that?
Exactly. If the map says there is no mountain here, but you are actively climbing a steep incline, breathing hard, do you trust the map or do you trust your legs?
You trust your legs. But, and this is the hard part of it all, having to constantly trust your legs when the whole world is shoving that map in your face, that has to be exhausting.
It takes a toll, and Hoerricks is very clear about that exhaustion. This isn't just an academic debate. It's a defense of their very existence. There's a line in the essay that I think just anchors the whole thing emotionally.
I think I know the one you mean. I will try to be polite about this.
So the patience required is geological.
Geological patience. Man, that just stops you in your tracks.
It's not I'm losing my patience. It's not I'm annoyed. It's patience on the scale of shifting tectonic plates. It's ancient.
Why that word geological? What does that signal?
It signals that this fight isn't new. It's not about this one paper from 2025. This is the heavy, slow, crushing burden of the neurodivergent experience for generations.
The burden of constantly having to translate your native operating system into somebody else's language just to be believed.
Yes. And when you finally find a framework like GLP that makes sense of your world, that explains the dog piles, to have it dismissed by a clipboard feels like a kind of violence. It's an erasure.
That's why the essay feels so fiery. It's not a polite letter to the editor. It's a defense of reality. Hoerricks is saying, we are here. This is how our brains work, and your inability to measure it is a flaw in your tool, not a flaw in us.
It completely flips the script on the naysayer chronicles. Usually the naysayer is the expert debunking the myth.
Right.
But here, the lived experience is positioned as the undeniable truth, and this specific application of science is the myth maker.
Because the science is telling a story that doesn't match the territory.
Exactly. And if the map and the territory don't match, you don't burn down the forest to fit the map, you fix the map. Hoerricks is telling them, your map is wrong. Come stand in the corridor with us.
But that requires a level of humility that sometimes, let's say, in short supply in high-level academia.
It does. It requires admitting that Chronos, your tool of measurement, cannot capture Kairos, the experience of meaning.
And that's a tough pill to swallow when you've spent your whole career building Chronos machines.
So you have the standoff. On one side, the case closed, researchers with their eye trackers sure that what they see is all there is.
And on the other, Hoerricks and this whole community standing in their cleared rooms saying that meaning arrives in wholes, whether your machine can see it or not.
It really makes you ask, what actually counts as evidence? Is it only what a machine can measure? Or is the shared visceral resonance of a community a form of data that science needs to learn to respect?
It reminds me of that saying, not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted.
That is the absolute essence of this debate. The lab is great at counting, but humans live in the things that count.
And this applies so far beyond linguistics. You see it in medicine, in education. We have just prioritized the metric over the human.
We have. And Hoerricks is sounding an alarm. If we let our tools dictate our reality, we risk becoming blind to everything those tools can't see. We risk telling people they aren't dancing just because our sensors didn't pick up the beat.
And risk missing the whole. I want to leave you with a thought to chew on this week. We live in a world that is obsessed with data tracking. We track our sleep, our steps, our calories. We're all walking around with our own little clipboards.
We're all trying to satisfy Chronos.
We are. But the next time you find yourself measuring your life by the numbers, or maybe judging someone else's by them, just ask yourself, Am I missing the kairos? Am I so busy tracking the mechanics of this moment that I'm missing the meaning of it?
Maybe it's time to put the clipboard down.
And just let the breath be breath. If you want to read Hoerricks' full essay, and we highly recommend it, we've linked it in the show notes. It's well worth your kairos time, not your chronos time. Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you next time.